It is now 9:15 on your Wednesday, and it is time for our Sidebar segment with Del Rio and Caraway, and they get to be in studio for the first time in many months. Welcome back.
Thank you for having us.
It's good to see you guys out of the office and here at Good Day. Okay, so we have three topics we're going to get to. We're going to go through kind of the legalities behind them, and the first I'm just going to premise, it's a horrible freak accident that happened. A woman in Utah with her husband, they were basically traveling the national parks when she was tragically killed in the park. And so, Dan, let's talk about what the premise of this story is about and now what the family is getting as a result.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tragic story. Basically, this couple recently moved to Utah. She was a well-known civil rights activist out of Uganda who had come for a leadership conference in Utah. So they had just recently moved there, just recently been married, were touring the national parks where they were at Asher National Park, which had just reopened a bunch of areas post-COVID. So they're traveling by car through the different areas. There was an area that apparently was supposed to have a locked gate, but it was open at the time. They go through, winds pick up, the gate slams on the car and unfortunately kills Esther. The facts of the accident were absolutely agreed to by both sides of the lawsuit. This came down to a civil trial in federal court solely about the damages in essentially evaluating the value of this one woman's life from 25 to, natural death. The good news coming out of it is that it did receive what is the highest federal verdict in Utah's history. So it's being basically touted as a great representation of the United States and our legal system valuing life properly.
Yeah, so the family was awarded $10 million. They obviously wanted more than that, but that's what they came to, again, at Arches National Park there in Utah. Just awful. Yeah. Okay, now, Chuck, we also want to talk more about something a little closer to home, something we've been covering here on the news, actually, CBS 13, this ADA civil suit with the city and the counties in Sacramento regarding the homeless encampments that are blocking sidewalks.
Yes, so this is local, but this is also something that might set a precedence for the entire state of California.
Right.
As everybody's seen, no politics, no taking sides or anything like that. If we go around Sacramento, you see a lot of homeless encampments. This doesn't have to do with all the homeless encampments. This has to do with the homeless encampments that are on the sidewalks.
Okay. And
that are blocking particular businesses. Because what's happened is it's very hard, if not impossible, to get the government to actually enforce the rules. They don't have to enforce the laws if they don't want to. So instead, there is a class action lawsuit against the county and the city of Sacramento.
Right.
And the class is plaintiffs that all have disabilities of some sort or another. And what they're saying is that because they're not enforcing the blocking of the sidewalks with these homeless encampments, they, as people with disabilities, don't have equal access to the businesses.
Right.
And so what we're going to see is whether or not this is allowed to go through. And if it does, it's going to set the precedence for the entire state of California. Because this isn't just a Sacramento issue. This is an issue with regards to all of the major cities in California. Yeah. If it goes through, then we might have more of these types of lawsuits.
Yeah, I could see this really taking off across the state. Okay, and then finally, just a few minutes here left, but let's talk about this recent recall of eye drops. Personally, as a contact wearer, this story kind of scares me a little bit. So go ahead and tell our viewers what it's about and then what the legality behind it is.
Yeah, so far on February 1st, the CDC put out an announcement and the FDA has followed, basically saying that there is a voluntary recall from an Indian manufacturer of eye drops. I believe it's Global Pharma.
Okay.
Two of their different types of eye drops, Esri Care and another one, I think it's Delsma, have been recalled for having a bacterial infection that has so far been found in 55 individuals across 12 states.
Okay.
It's rather widespread. It is a serious infection. It has been causing permanent blindness, hospitalization, and in one case, actual death.
Wow.
So I would encourage anyone to go ahead, Google eye drop recall. It's out there. It's very, very much public information. Just keep up with whether these are ones that you have ever had in your household. If so, get rid of them.
Yeah, and I can imagine for the families who've been impacted, this is going to have some serious legal weight.
That will be the next part, because now this is going to expand into what was actually contaminated, which ones have actually harmed people, and what will most likely become some sort of a class action.
Yeah, okay. Well, we are so grateful for your expertise. Again, we have Del Rio and Caraway, Dan and Chuck with us. Thank you so much, and it is great to have you here in studio.
Thank you very much.
All right, back over to you guys.
All right, thanks, guys.